Hey guys, it's me, Mia, and welcome back to my channel called Mia's Sketchbook. So today I am going to do my first book review, and it's called Color Harmony for Artists: How to Transform Inspiration into Beautiful Watercolor Palettes and Paintings by Ana Victoria Calderon. So if you don't know who Ana is, she is a watercolor artist. She's very active on Instagram, so if you want to see more of her artwork, you can go visit her Instagram page. Very beautiful artwork. And she has another book out, I think it came out a year or two ago, and it's called Creative Watercolor, and that's also a very good book. And she is also an instructor on Skillshare and Domestika, and I've taken classes on both platforms before. Not much difference, except one is in English and the other's in Spanish. But on Skillshare, I've taken quite a bit of her classes. I took, what did I take? Yes, I took modern watercolor techniques, watercolor textures, watercolor gouache and acrylic, watercolor mosaics, and watercolor mixing, finding your color identity. And so this book is pretty much an extension of that watercolor mixing class that she has on Skillshare. So we're going to go through the book and talk about it. And by the way, you guys, I'm sitting on the floor, and my cat, where's my cat? She's right there. So you might see a paw or a tail come into view. But yeah, let's get started. Okay. Alright. Dedication to every artist who is creating their own universe. Thank you. I like that. So here's the table of contents. Hands-on color theory and inspired palettes. And when I took Ana's color mixing class on Skillshare, this was an exercise that we did for the class, making strawberries using the different color combinations that we came up with. It was fun. Anyway, hands-on color theory, which is all in the Skillshare video, and inspired color palettes. So this is the preface of the book. She just talks about how she went to Sedona, Arizona, and she was inspired by the colors, the textures, the landscapes, and how she used all of that to create her own new personal palette. Okay, hands-on color theory. So, like I said, this first portion is in the Skillshare class. So here's the color wheel, and as you guys know, there's three primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. And you can create all these other different colors with those three colors. So this doesn't go into depth like her Skillshare class does, just to let you know. In the Skillshare class, she has you doing all these exercises. This is just the basic stuff. Color harmonies, you have your monochromatic colors. So this is a dark blue, and it gets lighter and lighter because more water is added to it. So you can change the shade of a color depending on how much water or pigment you add. So more color harmonies, analogous, that's how you pronounce it, complementary, triadic, split complementary, tetradic. I think I pronounced that right. So color and temperature. You have your warm colors, cool colors, and your neutral colors. And warm and cool variations. This portion was in the Skillshare class. You took, let me flip to the back. You just took this image and you painted it two different ways, with warm colors and with cool colors. And the purpose of the exercise was to see how color affects your mood. So for the warm colors, you might feel happy, joyful, you might be thinking about the tropics, whereas with the cold temperature colors, you might feel sadness, calm, nighttime, rest. Yeah, that was a nice exercise to do. So color paints for swatching. So basically for this section, she talks about the different types of watercolors you can use, pen colors, tube colors, and liquid colors. And she also mentions some of her favorites that she likes to use. So she uses Winsor & Newton, Schmincke, Sennelier, Dr. P.H. Martin's, and Holbein. And I know she likes the Dr. P.H. Martin's because the liquid watercolors, because those colors are like really vivid. And she mentions that she doesn't use them by themselves. She uses, she mixes the liquid watercolors with non-liquid watercolors just to cut down on the vividness a little bit. I think that's what she said. Anyway, inspired palettes. So these inspired palettes, they're palettes inspired by nature, people, different art movements that I wasn't even aware about. So that was interesting to go through the palettes, to the inspired palettes, and learn all of that. So here we are with the, what does that say? Austere de Style. I think that's Dutch. But anyway, this is the first palette, and I like that she used this as the first palette because it's pretty simple. So excluding white, for this one, we have 4 different colors: yellow, red, blue, and black. And right here, this is her inspired palette, 28 different colors. And like I said, you can change the tone of a color by how much water or how much complementary color you add to it. I'm not a watercolor expert, but that's just my interpretation. So for example, here's the dark blue, light blue, medium blue, light blue. Same thing with the black. It's a dark black. Add more water. It's a gray. She probably added blue to one of these. I can't tell. Same thing with the yellow. You have the dark yellow. Add more water. Light yellow. Add even more water. Lighter yellow. So these are like monochromatic colors. Impressionism. Art Nouveau. This is another simple one that I like. So there's pretty much 9 different colors in this banana, like 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. And this is all the variation that you can get. And so she used those colors from this palette and she created her crescent moons. Cosmic Magic. And I think it's in her modern watercolor technique class, she teaches you how to paint a galaxy. And so in this photograph, you know, you have black, like a light yellow, magenta, purple, blue, like a light blue, orange. And those are all the colors that she was inspired by from this photo, and she created her own galaxy. Same thing with the northern lights. This is pretty simple: blue, green, magenta, black, dark purple. All right. This is really nice. I love the bright yellow. Makes me feel happy. Makes me think of vacation. Aboriginal dot art. Okay. I like this palette a lot because I love blues and greens. and then with the oranges and the reds, those are complementary colors. I didn't like this one too much. I just think there should have been like more white in it to make it stand out more. It just looks kind of blurry to me. Okay. So one thing I noticed about the book is when after she did her inspired palettes, she pretty much kind of replicated a little bit what was in the photograph. So after she got her palette, she did the pink tulip, and she was inspired by this pattern here. But then I noticed like towards the middle of the book, after she develops her personal palette, her inspired palette, then instead of recreating what she sees here, she starts doing her own thing and creating something new. And I like that, because I believe that's the whole point of the book, is being inspired by nature and then using that to create your own world. So I like this. I love the colors. They're soft, kind of dreamlike. So this is another one that she did. Instead of just repainting the fish, she did the fish scales. She added texture to the fish scales. Same thing with the bunnies. Instead of just painting more bunnies, she just made some fluffy clouds. Okay. I like this one, like all the different colors. I like this one too because she could have just painted like more buildings, but instead she just did different triangles. And I like this palette as well. So even though the palette was inspired by this building in the sky right here, you can use these same colors to create like a landscape, or you know, like a beach or something. It doesn't have to be exactly what's in the photograph. These are some beautiful earth tones. I like this one. I like it because the colors are kind of soft and dreamlike, and she didn't really replicate what she saw here. She just suggested it, and she did it in her own style. I like how she did the trees. I like how instead of drawing every single building, she just drew like a mountain and added some windows and some doors to it, and I really like it. Very simple. I love these bright colors. This is a nice pattern. Koala Park, I went there many years ago. Okay, so now my cat is scratching at her scratching post. Okay, ancient Egypt. So this is earth tones, and she mentions that she loves working with earth tones because that's a part of her signature palette. And I think this is, like, she used pottery, but I think this would make a good skin color palette as well. I mean, like, once you get this palette down, like, you can use the colors for anything you want. Create your own thing. And I'm gonna bookmark this page with my finger because I'm gonna go back to it. Nice simple beach scene. Oh, I wish I was there right now. I haven't been to a beach in a minute. See, this is nice right here. I like how she didn't replicate the mountains. She did her own interpretation. I like this because it feels like you're going into a different world. It's like a doorway. Magical doorway. Okay, I really like this one. Underwater Fantasy. And these are the colors that inspired her from this photograph of this coral reef. And this, it could be a coral reef, but it can also be a galaxy. But you can see all the colors in here were found in here. The desert. This is really nice. I love the desert. I love the mountains too. This is a nice palette. Lupine Field. Not sure if I pronounced that right. This reminds me of lavender, but I don't know what types of blooming lupines. Never heard of that before. But this reminds me of lavender, and I love lavender. Love the way it smells. Colorful succulents. And she put here, notice that succulents tend to have split complementary harmonies that branch out from the green hues. Okay, so now we are getting into florals. This reminds me of the fall. And this would look really nice on a card. We have more beautiful florals. And I like this palette because the colors, they go so well together, but they're not like super bright. It's like gives me like a romantic feeling. Something vintage. Alright. Still life with fruit. And I like this one because, what is this photo? I'm not sure where this painting is from. It could be current, or maybe it's a photograph, I don't know. But these are the colors she was inspired by, and I like how she made this rainbow ladder. Abundant Harvest. Press like if you love autumn as much as I do. Monochromatic Amethyst. And in technique notes, she mentions that she just mixed different shades of purple together, and then she added water to lighten it, and she got all these different shades right here. This is really nice. I really like this one. I like how the darks contrast with the lights. Stunning skin tones. And for this palette, she said, I created most of this palette by mixing shades of orange and blue. And instead of painting people, she decided to make mountains. And I really like that. And what is that called again? Atmospheric perspective, where it gets lighter the further away you are. I think that's what it's called. But this is her skin tone palette. But personally, for me, I would prefer to use the Ancient Egypt palette for a skin tone palette. Why? Because the colors are they're more vivid, and here they're just more dull. Lavish Locks. And okay, that was the last page. And so I mentioned before about the exercise in the beginning, and I think I showed this to you guys already, but this illustration is in the back of the book, and she said you can photocopy it and do your color temperature exercises. And these are resources. Let's see. Yeah, her creative watercolor book, a step-by-step guide for beginners. If you want more watercolor instructions, you can go to Skillshare, Domestika. These are the supplies that she uses: Canson XL Cold Press watercolor paper, And then these are the paints that are mentioned in this book. And then the back, she's just thanking her friends and family, and this is just an about section. But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the book review. I really like this book. I was inspired by it, and I was inspired by it so much that I created my own color palette book, which I'm in the middle of working on, but I'll show it to you in my next video. Anyway, you guys, take care. Thanks for stopping by and stay safe. Bye.